You'll never guess what occurred in this Mythic Plus dungeon. Somebody leaves a pug group after not very much has happened. Ruby Life Pool's first boss. This evoker fella's dead. He's a damage dealer from 12th Loss. We're sub 25% right now, and he goes battle res. Fast forward another 20 or so seconds. Raging fortified key, so not really that hard of a fight. The only battle res in the group is the person recording the key. He's playing a prop paladin. We have another death as well. This time it's the healer, but no battle reses go out. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the actual issue, though. He then says, I need to save holy power, I guess, to heal myself. Risky move, presumably saying that battle resing the damage dealer is too risky, not worth it. Guess who doesn't like that? The Quell the Loss Evoker DPS. Now we're on to the Thunderhead, one of the more dangerous mobs in the game. Those triple dots, he's got our friend, the Paladin tank here, pretty upset. So instead of playing his character, he's typing and he gets one shot or dies to some combination of things. Honestly, it's hard to tell. He says, you don't like it, then something that's too hard to understand in terms of a typo. Why don't you play as a tank, I guess? The evoker says, I play Death Knight tank and I tank better than you with only 360 item level. That's it. Literally, that's it. He leaves the key. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next. I mean, what do you, I really don't get it. So, let's talk a little bit about the situation here, because we always try to laugh and we always try to learn simultaneously. There's definitely a fair bit of learning here. As someone who's pugged for a very long time, I'm going to tell you right now, you got to res this guy. You really do. He asked for the res too. It's one thing to not res him if he doesn't seem to care, but the guy asked for res. Basically, as pug tanks and just like players in general, we're kind of just looking to solve problems before they occur. That's like your number one goal when you're tanking Mythic Plus. You're trying to outsmart the mistake. You might have heard me say that. Well, outsmarting the mistake here is using 3 holy power to battle res this guy. Is it 3 or 5? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. You use the holy power. The reality of the danger of this fight, honestly, I don't really subscribe to. I really don't think you're going to die because 3 holy power wasn't spent. And so the goal here isn't even to res this guy. It's to get him to not freak out. What I always do is I just always res the person. I always kind of debate, like, is it worth resing him? I don't know. Res him, and if he takes the res, then that's on him at that point. But, I get it. Resources are important. This fight maybe causes some issues that you do have some concerns over, but, it's just not worth it. Hopefully, this is a lesson everyone can learn. You're just trying to get out ahead of these, weird social interactions where people are, so mentally unstable that small arguments cause them to freak out. The stranger thing about this all, though, is just, how it's handled afterwards. This is why I would say just don't talk. There's no reason to reply to this guy in the first place, but honestly, a pretty benign conversation just immediately turns up for no real reason. And then the fact that the guy leaves, it's just, where you going? There's 2 deaths. It's an easy key. You're just leaving a joke key. This to me is very predictable. You just got to get in the minds of these players for even a second. These players are so self-absorbed, and they feel like they're so important in the key that if you ever diminish that whatsoever, this is a massive ego hurt to them. And we talked about this on stream the other day. You have this situation where these players aren't actually playing for progression. They're playing to feel good about themselves. They're doing keys because they're looking for some kind of visceral high that they get from playing the game. And if anything even remotely stands in the way of that, they're immediately going to lose interest. And this is clearly what's happening here, because to leave under these circumstances, this is even this guy's key, which I will say, if anybody's going to leave a key, it better be the key holder, because they're the only ones who really lose anything from it. This guy's willing to eat the keystone level going down 1 level, presumably playing a spec that he wants to play that doesn't have a tank spec, over some kind of argument about being battle res on a fight that was pretty much already over. It's just pure ego, right? That's it. The guy thinks I'm too important to leave dead, and then you say, well, actually, I have this reason why I didn't res you, and then that person's like, well, that reason is completely insufficient in my eyes. You need to res me, so see you later. And then he even insults them. It's a bad choice. Don't ever say this to somebody. I need my 3 resources more than I need you. Don't say that to somebody. But at the end of the day, it's just another example of why I always say, just probably don't talk in keys. You run the risk of serious damage to the key's morale, even with very basic communication. It's so sad, man. People don't seem to get it either. This guy was perfect. If you just res them and didn't say a word, or you probably didn't even res them and didn't say a word, they kind of let their mind play tricks on them at that point, and they start giving you reasons to get out of that. But if you explicitly tell them that reason and they don't like that reason, that's not going to go well. Even if it is your own key, like I said, at least that is understandable, but you wasted just 10 minutes of other people's time. Dying on a fortified boss on its own is a whole different story. So we're on the search for the funniest key. Don't you forget it. it. I also want to announce that at the end of this season, I am going to be doing like a bracket challenge. I don't really know what I'm calling it yet. Let me know if you guys have some suggestions, where we're going to do like a vote where every key in this playlist from season 1 is going to be in a head-to-head bracket against each other. And you guys are going to gradually vote to see what the ultimate best 2 keys are, and then ultimately which one wins as the funniest key of the season. So make sure you guys are recording your runs, especially if you're doing lower keys. Send them to me. You can send them to me in Discord or through the email on the channel. I can't wait, because there's been some really good submissions, some really good stuff still to come, but I know there's even funnier out there, man. I'm searching for that one key. So thank you for watching. We will see you guys in the next one.